Ever wonder where federal judges go for a luxury vacation? Turns out some might be wining and dining with conservative donors while presiding over important cases. Let's go.
Welcome to another episode of You Can't Make This Shit Up. I am your host, Joel Hoxley, David Washington, and Kellen Clark. We're excited to be here. Our subject today, we're going to talk about federal judges, including Aileen Cannon, attending all expenses paid colloquiums. See, you had to put a tough word in there. And luxury lodges like Sage Lodge, funded by conservative organizations like the Law and Economics Center. These events feature lectures on right wing legal theories, raising questions about judicial impartiality and transparency. Okay, that sounds, let's go, David. What do you say?
So it's these all expenses paid colloquiums, if I said it correctly or close to it. So it's like retreats.
It's a training.
Right. And all these judicial people will come and, participate in this training, retreat, forum, whatever they call it. And it's amazing that with Judge Cannon, she did not disclose this specific colloquium at the Sage Lounge. And so it's very strange that this is happening.
David, does this remind you of another judge that might be famous for doing something very similar?
Wouldn't that be Mr. I shouldn't say Mr. Justice
Yes,
Thomas?
Justice to you. It's Justice Clarence Thomas to you.
Yes,
there appears to be a very in-depth effort. We've gone over Leonard Leo till the cows come home. We've gone over Leonard Leo many times, but there does seem to be a strong effort to, instead of just going for the legislature, going for the judges. Bringing them on lavish trips. Buying their homes to turn them into museums.
Democrats do this too,
Oh, they do. They do.
We're not. There's no argument there.
I think we need to be trained. They need to be trained on how to be better conservatives. I mean, look.
They need to be trained on how to do this better. They need to be trained on how to do what the Federalist Society is doing. They need to be trained on how Leo Leonard does his business. I mean, Leonard Leo, thank you. That is his name.
And we are so professional today. What is going on here?
Times that we've mentioned Leonard Leo in our podcast.
Leonard Leo.
I can't believe I screwed that up. But you're right, Joel. The Democrats definitely, the liberals need to take several pages out of this particular playbook. But for Judge Cannon, she failed to acknowledge on, the necessary paperwork.
That was an accident.
It was an accident.
Come on. It's really hard to remember these trips when they're not that exciting.
Right.
It was so boring. Look, David, it was so boring that she just absorbed it all, came back and forgot to put it on the paperwork.
Sure. Let's describe.
Let's not talk about Judge
experience. We're talking about a lodge featuring rooms, with stone fireplaces that go for upwards of $1,000 a night. Meals that include house cured meats, from local ranches,
but not in Florida. They
garden
can't be
fresh produce from nearby farms, and of course, plenty of Northwest craft beers and spirits right off the Yellowstone River just outside Yellowstone National Park.
I need an invitation to these things.
We need to
Where's
become
the-
lawyers and then get appointed to like county judge and then circuit judge and then
Well, you're gonna have to
appellate
change.
court judge
You're gonna have to change parties
in a hurry.
If you want-
that should be a poll. Should David change parties
Yeah.
just to benefit from the
David's
Fun
gonna
fact,
go-
David's
so-
Second Amendment.
David's going to go to Barry Law School, okay? So he can do it right here
Okay, right.
in Orlando.
Okay.
And he's going to change parties so he can get on the governor's list to become a judge. I think that's a good idea.
and I've got 2 years to do that.
And as a Republican and a black Republican,
Ah.
you'll have a very good chance of getting a judgeship really quick because they're few and far between.
So let's hear from our viewers.
We always
and
have to be. We
listeners.
always have to have diversity.
Exactly. And viewers and listeners, please in the comment section, should David hand in his Democrat card and become a registered Republican just to benefit from the greatness of being a Republican?
Listen, I bet you go through.
I want to know the corruption too. Take me with you.
I bet you
Let's
go
grab
through.
Kellen.
I bet you go through law school and you get out even earlier than most people because that's how how quick you could do this stuff.
Because of my
Because you're
brilliance.
Because you're brilliant.
Yeah,
Look,
So-
David, you need to go on these vacations.
it's beautiful.
You can always send an extra invitation. I know that you're going to be bringing your wife. You'll
We'll
be
have a
bringing your girlfriend,
podcast.
and I'll come down just to make sure we can podcast from there.
Yeah, this is beautiful. I
Yeah.
mean, a great opportunity, for the judges and so forth and so on. It's just that this week-long curriculum or colloquium happens almost every year.
Mhm.
And this one was at Sage Lodge in Prairie, Montana, and it's just like wow, these opportunities. However, for Judge Cannon not to have disclosed on necessary disclosures that are reported on the circuit's website that she went and it was paid for by another party, a third party. I think this was in 2021. There's a problem, and as we become more concerned about ethics in the judiciary, become more concerned about partiality. This is something that it's
It's
something that has to be addressed.
You can't make
especially with Judge Cannon
Yeah.
being in the news.
I know you
so
can't,
much lately.
Yeah, you can't make this shit up. So again, there's nothing I can't defend it, but I just I would hope that it was a very, very bad mistake. But it's hard to forget that you went on an all paid, all expense paid trip to Montana, especially since it's Montana. It's not a state that like most people go to.
Beautiful country.
Wow. Was it Montana? For some reason, I was thinking it was Wyoming.
It was.
Am I wrong?
Sage Lodge is in Prairie, Montana.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's right.
Mhm.
I think I crossed wires because we talked about Wyoming briefly in the last show that we recorded before this one. But absolutely, I mean, we've been getting a lot of stories in these past couple of years, even of Supreme Court justices going on trips like these. And it's important to remember who one of the people that goes through Cannon's court fairly often is, and that is former President Trump. He's been through her court several times now. And if I'm not mistaken, I might be mistaken, she's also worked with the documents case. And if there's anybody that should, I mean, I'm not saying that she should be specially monitored because, she's dealt with the former president, but not disclosing that is a really bad look, especially when she, a Trump nominee, has been accused of favoring him before. This does not help her image anymore. It only has to hurt it more.
I mean, with the Democrats, I mean, she's already she's already in trouble. Listen, speaking of Donald Trump, he's had more victories. He's had more victories.
Well, he got one out of her court recently. Let's talk
Well,
about
yeah.
that.
Well, he, that's been postponed.
Indefinitely.
Because it seems that there was a picture that everybody was given that was actually staged. There was not actually classified documents underneath it, and there's questions about the procedures that are going on with it's Jack Smith, right?
Yes, the
Okay.
special prosecutor.
The special
Jack Smith.
prosecutor, and again, the Democrats are upset because they want all this stuff to hit before the election, but not a single trial will. And the testimony from
Daniels.
Daniels yesterday did not help the prosecutor at all, because
It
she
was
didn't
a
know anything about what actually he's being accused of. And Donald Trump again couldn't keep his self together, and the judge is planning on, saying that he broke the
gag roll
gag
again.
rule again by making some gesture in the courtroom. Listen, the gag rule for me is a joke, because he's the only one gagged. The defense the defense is gagged, but the prosecutor's not. So again,
Yeah,
everything.
but let's get back to Judge Cannon here. This
Yeah,
is
yeah,
Judge
but-
and
Cannon.
I'm going back to Judge Cannon, but Judge
Okay,
Cannon,
you're going around the block here.
but I'm making
Let's
sure
see
that
this.
everybody knows that Donald Trump has had a lot of victories on this thing, and that Cannon, she made a call on the documents case, and indefinitely. We got to get, if they're not doing the right thing, if they're providing the wrong information, then it's time to stop. But again, she should have her how do they say it? You can't live in a glass house. Don't throw stones.
If you live in the glass
house.
houses.
So
Right.
yeah, and I think she needs to clean this up. She should be disciplined by the bar. I guess that's who conducts these things. But if you do something wrong, you should be held accountable for it. But it's nothing impeachable. I mean, she's just absent-minded, I guess.
Probably not. But you are right that certainly some
Overburdened.
action needs to be taken, and maybe it needs to be standard training, because we've heard this multiple times now, especially from Thomas, but from a couple others as well who've accepted trips like these, saying, "Oh, I didn't realize I had to disclose it." We should add that to like the oath. It's like at the bottom. And I shall disclose any all paid for lavish vacations I receive.
I don't understand what's so hard to understand about that.
Oh well,
It's not really that hard to understand, and it might just be that they're hiding behind their alleged ignorance that they're putting onto themselves. They may totally know.
I mean, Justice Thomas, or specifically Judge Cannon, they have staff. They have people who handle their calendars and the paperwork and things like this. A simple form called the privately funded seminar disclosure report. That's all that was needed to be completed and filed, so that this information can be on the website of every federal court within 30 days of the time a judge is attending such a all expense paid seminar. It's not coming out of your pocket. It's a whole week. I'm sure during that whole week, either her and or her staff are aware, did we file the necessary paperwork? I mean, it doesn't get that hard.
Well, I agree with Kellen over here. I think every Democrat should go to this thing too, so that
Sure.
they're all on the same sheet of music. We won't have any more of these stupid liberal causes getting through the courts.
The Democrats need their own Leonard Leo.
Yeah, I was just being I was just being silly, but listen,
I'm too poor to be that person.
We want to hear from you. I mean, if you're upset with the judge, please let us know. We want to hear your comments. If you support the judge by understanding that this may have just been a mistake, that somebody didn't do the proper follow up. Maybe that person got fired because they didn't do it. We don't know the whole story other than what's been reported. Like, share, be part of our audience, and please get involved because we have some really good content coming out. David and I have done some really excellent interviews. Kellen
yeah.
has been making some awesome shorts. So we
Stay
really
tuned. This weekend we plan to have another one coming up. We're actually going to have 3 kind of, well, hopefully everything can get done in time. Hoping to have 3 of them shotgun. So I hope to have one over the weekend, one on Monday or Tuesday, and another one close to the end of the week. With, of course, the accompanying shorts. If you don't have time to watch the whole interview, it will luckily be shorter than the previous some of those previous interviews we've done, namely the Plakin one, which was an hour and 12 minutes. They will be a little shorter than that. So you're welcome, or sorry if you like the long ones. Regardless, like, comment, share. We appreciate it greatly. We want to know your thoughts. This has been You Can't Make This Shit Up. And we are out.